So this video is going to be not only a follow-up to a video I did about a little while, well, a long while ago, about like almost 2 years now, and the other part of this video is going to be talking about the further news on Resident Evil and crossing over with Dead by Daylight. As you guys know, it was announced that Resident Evil and Dead by Daylight were going to do a collab level with new survivors and a killer. And it was revealed today who that killer was. And it was exactly the person I wanted. Nemesis, along with Leon and Claire. Ugh, the word got away from me. But yeah, Claire and Leon are the survivors, and Nemesis is the killer. And we also have the city of Raccoon City, and we have the police Raccoon City PD as levels. So can you imagine real quick, so you can technically now have a crossover with Silent Hill, because now you can just have Pyramid Head dragging his sword around in there and hunting Leon. So you can finally have your Resident Evil Silent Hill crossover, kinda. So I'm really excited for that. I really think it's cool. I was actually expecting Mr. X, aka the Tyrant, as the killer. That was honestly my pick. Not my pick. Nemesis was always my pick because I always liked Nemesis more. But I thought it was going to be Mr. X because, ideally I thought that would be the go-to one because he just looks like a killer you'd see in Dead by Daylight. But nope, they went Nemesis. And again, it's that whole year of Resident Evil, from the 25th anniversary to the upcoming movie and Infinite Darkness. It's all really cool stuff. So I'm really excited that it's Nemesis getting the spotlight, because again, your boy loves Nemesis. Actually, funny story. Before I played the Resident Evil 3 game, I first saw Resident Evil Apocalypse. I know, in hindsight, it was a bad movie, really bad. But the design of Nemesis was so cool. I love the practical effects, and Nemesis has always been the one character I've always kind of gravitated towards in terms of Resident Evil. So to have him as a killer now in Dead by Daylight is awesome. So, yeah. So this video, so there's all the stuff I had to say about with Resident Evil in Dead by Daylight. But the rest of this video, however, is going to be talking about ideas for killers and survivors for Dead by Daylight. Now, I am going to be realistic. I am going to be very realistic in doing this list, so I will not have Jason on this list, because Jason, as of right now, as of this recording, is still in legal hell. So I just want a hockey mask movie. I just want a hockey mask killer movie with my favorite dude wielding a machete. It's all I want. Can you just get over your shit, Victor Miller and Sean S. Cunningham? Can you just do that, please? Fuck you both. Anyway. What was I gonna say? Oh, right. So, the other thing that I will not be having is some other lesser characters. Lesser by smaller characters. So, characters like Leprechaun and Chucky and even Annabelle. I was never gonna have Annabelle on this list. Yeah, the smaller characters are out. But I hear you say, what about Billy the Puppet? That's why they used the pig. That's why they used, I think it was Amanda they used as the killer for Dead by Daylight when they were crossing over with Saw. So yeah, there is that. But yeah, so those are the parameters. Those are the parameters I'm going to be using. But you may be thinking, but outside of Chucky and those ones you just mentioned, what killers are left? What killers aren't left? Dude, there are a ton of killers and survivors you can still use. Starting off, Candyman. I want Candyman in this game. I've wanted him in this game since day one. And I've got a feeling he will be coming. He's the one I think is the most likely. I think he's the one that is coming soon. Why? The movie. The movie is coming out very soon, so... And Tony Todd's likeness would not be that hard to get. You could maybe even get Tony Todd to voice him, maybe. They haven't really had killers have voices, so... It'd be kind of... I think this would be a cool experimental territory to have Candyman have a voice, have a killer voice, and maybe that can be a new thing trending onwards. So, that'd be neat. Yeah. But yeah, Candyman, first and foremost. As for Survivor, I'd say Helen. Yeah, Just have Helen again. I don't know if you could get the actress's likeness, but you could definitely have that character. Just a thought. As for where this could be, maybe Cabrini Green as a level. Yeah, Cabrini Green could be a level, or well, the other sites are in the sequels are really trash, so Cabrini Green. That's really all I could say is Cabrini Green. So yeah, Candyman, absolutely. I think he's a strong possibility. Definitely, first and foremost, Candyman for that character, for Dead by Daylight. And his whole finish, his Memento Mori move could just be, he, like, always says, like, I'll split you from your gullet to your groin. Like, he just takes that hook and just jams it into your torso and just starts lifting it up. And, like, you're just spilling guts everywhere, all the way to your throat, and you just toss it aside. Anyway, so there's that. The next one on my list is one that's a little controversial. And it's not because of the character, it's because of who created the character. And that is the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. Now, on paper, the Creeper is perfect. He's perfect for Dead by Daylight. Long-range weapons, an axe that you can throw and retract back to you. Flight, you can actually smell your terror. You can just, like, induce terror on the survivors and just inhale them, and that can be your tracking. It's perfect. Like, it's a lot of perfect. There's so many elements to the Creeper that would really work. The problem is Victor Salva, the director of Jeepers Creepers 1 through 3, because the dude's a fucking pedophile. Now, that's kind of like, it's really hard these days to really detach yourself while watching Jeepers Creepers from the director. It really is, because that dude is a monster. But now that there's talk of a remake, well, I wouldn't say remake, but more like a new set of films that are no longer in Salva's control, I think that character can be revamped for a new era. Now that we're getting a new set of films that are not under Salva's control, so now I feel like that character can maybe wash away that taint, and maybe with this new era of Jeepers Creepers, that can bring in a new that can bring in a new era for this character, for like, he could be perfect for Dead by Daylight, if, with the new remake form. But maybe you could go classic just for the classic fans. As for where this could be, I would say, since this is Florida it lives in, I keep forgetting that this is supposed to be Florida it lives in. Yeah, the one horror monster, the one slasher horror movie we have in Florida, and it's created by a fucking child molester. Fucking typical. Anyway, so I think I would say, like, maybe go a little unique and have it be like the cornfields and like the open fields, like in Jeepers Creepers 2, or somewhere around the house in the first movie, somewhere around the house, or the police. Actually, no, the police station in the final part of the first movie. That would actually be perfect. As for Survivor, I would say, I forget the girl's name in the movie, but yeah, the girls from the first movie, she can be the Survivor. Now, moving on to our next one is none other than Pumpkinhead. Yeah, Pumpkinhead is a character I think has been long dormant. He hasn't had a movie since Pumpkinhead 4, Blood Feud. And this movie would be perfect. You could just set the level can be out in the Ozarks. You can have the survivor could be Ed Harley. Yeah, I know Ed Harley is connected to the monster, but he did fight it at the end. And let's be real, the rest of the characters are literally forgettable. They're cannon fodder. So and to have Lance Henriksen voice Ed Harley, cool in my book. So absolutely 100%, the Pumpkinhead would be perfect. As for our next one, and this is one I think would be really cool, the Miner from My Bloody Valentine. The Miner would be so good in this. Like, could you imagine, like, the level can just be the mines. It could just be Valentine Bluff Mines. It's dark, it's cramped. The Miner is just like a character you could see, is just you could just imagine there. And My Bloody Valentine, not the remake, the original movie from, funny enough, Vic, Victor Miller, is a cult classic, and that movie's generating a lot of buzz lately. So, I think he would be. I think that character, the miner, would be really cool. Yes, I know it's really Axel Walker, but there's like people just know it as the miner. So Axel Walker, aka the miner from My Bloody Valentine, perfect. He would be a great slasher. On to our next one. And this would be a pretty fun one. I think this would be a fun one just to bring back. And that is the Djinn from Wishmaster. The Djinn from the 90s, early 2000s era of movies would be a great... Like, you could just have teleport. You could do these cool Memento Mori kills. Just, like, turning people into horrendous objects and having them lose their souls. Oh, the possibilities are endless with the Djinn. And the level could be like maybe the art gallery at the end of the first movie. Yeah, with all the like weird shit on the walls and maybe like panic people and people transforming into their worst nightmares. That would just be perfect. Yeah. So, and also, like I said with Candyman and having, you know, Tony Todd, like, wouldn't it be cool to have Tony Todd voice the Candyman in Dead by Daylight? I think it'd be really cool to have Andrew Devoff come back to voice the Djinn again. So, yeah, as for Survivor, I'm not sure because a lot of the characters are forgettable. So, yeah. Now, as for others, another one I think would be really fun to do, and just because of this how cult following it is Billy from Black Christmas. Just literally have it in the sorority house. Literally in the sorority house. And be the kill. Like, you could like hide in rooms or hide in the house and make like phone calls that confuse the survivors. I forget the first girl's name, but she'd be actually really good as the survivor. But totally 100% Billy from Black Christmas would be awesome as a killer in here. Now, as for others, I would really like to see Universal get in on this. I think it would be kind of cool to have Universal get on this because they're all about revamping the Universal monsters. So I would love nothing more to have a Universal monster in here. It could be Dracula. It could be, you know, Frankenstein, the Frankenstein monster. It could be the Invisible Man. It could be the Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon. Any of those monsters would be perfect for, would just be 100% perfect for Dead by Daylight. Like, if you do Phantom of the Opera, it's the Opera House as a level, with Christine as the survivor. Christine and Raoul as the survivors. You could have, with the Wolfman, you could have the original, like if we're doing Lon Chaney Wolfman, you could have it be Larry Talbot's father, you know, Claude Rains in that movie. And it'd be kind of fun, like, if they did Universal Monsters, you could do it black, like the levels are black and white, and everything is black and white, like in the movies. With Dracula, Van Helsing, there you go. And honestly, you could do Dracula, because again, it's a public domain character, but, like, you could pick any Dracula, really. Like, you could do Gary Oldman Dracula. Well, I would say Christopher Lee, but the estate might be a little expensive. Same with Bela Lugosi. So those two might be a little difficult. But if you were to pick a Dracula, that wouldn't probably cost much, depending on how you look at it. The Coppola Dracula may be the way to go. But then again, it'd be probably really expensive to get Oldman and Winona Ryder and Hopkins or Keanu Reeves. That might be expensive. Either way, I think it would be real. Now that I think about it, it might actually be cheaper to go to Lugosi's estate and get his likeness for this movie. Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's the swamp. It's literally the Black Lagoon as your level. The Invisible Man. The little village he showed up in the first movie, in the beginning of the movie. all of these, like any of the Universal monsters, would be perfect. And again, Universal, you always crow about, how you always want to respect the classics and you want to do more stuff with the Universal monsters. Hell, you've got a whole land coming soon to Epic Universe. So how about promote it with Dead by Daylight and give us at least one of the Universal monsters for the game. Now this one isn't a slasher, but it is a survivor. And that would be Dr. Herbert West. And you may be thinking, West is an asshole. Why would you have that? He's not a villain. He's an anti-hero, if anything else. So I think it'd be really cool to, have... One, you could have Jeffrey Combs, just like with Bruce Campbell coming as Ash. You could have Jeffrey Combs come in and voice Herbert West. And, when someone's down or killed by a memento mori... you could just have him reanimate other survivors. He can be like the team healer. That would be really cool to see him as like the team healer. And for killer, you could have Dr. Pretorius. Dr. Pretorius was from Beyond. The villain from the first two movies? He showed up in Reanimator and Bride of Reanimator. I forget. It's the schoolmaster who took his severed head and was trying to give head to Barbara Crampton. Was a thing. But yeah, long story short, Herbert West as a survivor would be epic. As for other killers and whatnot, I would say, of course, Pinhead. I bet you guys were kind of waiting for Pinhead at this point, weren't you? Because again, we're getting a remake. The remake is coming to Hulu under Clive Barker. And maybe we could get Doug Bradley to voice Pinhead. Maybe have it in the maze of the Leviathan from the second movie as the level. Just a thought. Also, Victor Crowley from Hatchet, the Slaughter Swamp. Literally, Slaughter Swamp is a level. And have Danielle Harris's character as the survivor. I'm giving you all these ideas, man. I'm giving you all these ideas. Dead by Daylight. Go use these characters. But yeah. So you guys tell me in the comments below. What do you guys? I think I could go on and on, but I don't want to make this video too long. But you guys tell me in the comments below. What slashers and survivors would you love to see in Dead by Daylight? Would you want to see and there's tons of others I haven't mentioned, like Sadako and Kayako from Grudge and The Ring. There's so many, the Sadako and Kayako from Ring and The Grudge. They can be here. I would love to see them here. Even Sachiko from Corpse Party. Dude, Corpse Party in here. Yeah, I want to see some other, since we've had horror game characters in here. Yeah, Corpse Party would be perfect. Having Sachiko in the high school. It's a level. It's literally Dead by Daylight. Who else would be cool in here? From other eras. I don't know if they'll ever get anime. It's probably they'll never get an anime, so I'm not even going to bother. There are some good horror anime that would be great for Dead by Daylight, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get that. Yeah, but anyway. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of this? Do you guys like it, hate it, and what slashers and survivors and levels would you love to see in Dead by Daylight? Just comment below, let me know, and once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.